it is with great pleasure today that I get to finally sit down with a good mate of mine, and not only Johnny has gone through the Walk the Talk mentor program since last March.
Yeah, March.
And it's a funny way, we actually ran into each other at the coffee shop, and I don't know, it all started and all stemmed from there. And you know, I suppose first of all, physically and mentally at that stage, I mean, for those who've seen Johnny's journey so far, and people who haven't seen him for quite some time, they're just absolutely blown away of the physical changes, and not only mentally how he's come out. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch things progress over this period of time, and we've got a lot of work to do this next 12 to 18 months, so I look forward to sharing that journey we go through as the next sort of tier. But Johnny, for those out there through this transformation and when you started, how did you feel about yourself, and where were you as far as mindset when we first caught up?
Mindset, I was the worst I've ever been. I was in a very bad place for me, and physically in the worst shape I've ever been, without a doubt.
Were you exercising?
I just started just before Christmas,
right,
when I bumped into you. Yeah, and it was going okay.
Yeah. Did you just find you had no direction or guidance, or
100%,
or anything whatsoever? So, you know, I suppose in the end of the day, when you're not feeling good about not only the way you look, but on a mental level, how much of an impact movement and what you put in your mouth makes such a difference in the end of the day as well.
Oh yeah, like I've tried a few diets before and this and that, and I thought I had an idea of good nutrition, but this has changed my eyes, definitely.
Definitely. So we're going to talk about the mentor program, Walk the Talk Legacy Mentor program that we put Johnny through. What was involved with this is that it was a huge educational component, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was being able to help Johnny as far as an educational side of things with, you know, fueling his body, to manipulating his body on an aesthetic level, training wise, which was very, very important. Check-ins, all these sorts of things. So the biggest one that a lot of you have probably heard of is flexible dieting, or counting macros, and by that I mean proteins, fats and carbs. I introduced Johnny, like, rather than just giving Johnny a diet plan in March, I think it was, if I did that, I reckon Johnny boy would have lasted a good 2 or 3 weeks as far as that's concerned. But we introduced Johnny to macro counting, understanding the numbers in food, using technology, which is great. It makes it nice and easy, and you can scan all your foods in, and you count your proteins and your fats and your carbs. Obviously, we give Johnny a macro count daily that is individualized to him. How did you personally find, as compared to normal following a diet plan, being introduced to the art of flexible dieting?
Well, I just thought, for me, it was a bit more education. Like, I knew what the foods meant. Like, I don't know, I need to know the background of everything.
Yep.
So, and just giving me, here's meal 1, meal 2, chicken, rice, porridge, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't really feel like that's custom to me. Yep. And this way, I can get the background information, and I can fit my foods to those numbers, and I hit the numbers each day, and everything's good. Yeah.
So you found educational wise, you started to look at food at a whole different aspect, as far as knowing what's in, you know, red meats as compared to fish and chicken, as compared to packaged and processed meals and high fat meals, or Johnny's cheat meals on the weekend, you know, these are all, so on an educational front, you started to understand nutrition a lot better by flexible dieting.
Without a doubt.
Did you feel from March to now, the cut phase is a bit of a different story, especially now, we're starting to reverse Johnny up and get his calories back up as he's in the growth phase. Do you feel like you're missing out on anything?
Very, very rarely.
Yep.
And if I want to, I fit it into my macros if I want to.
Yeah. I've definitely taught Johnny how to manipulate macros and get beers on the weekend and a few other things. So, but obviously I think the next thing too is that we made sure that Johnny every Wednesday morning answered to the tape, hips, waist, weight, and obviously everything that over and above his macro manipulation going in here would determine a big effect as far as what progress you'd get on your check-in day. So that's something you've always got to answer to, and I think you were very smart about your decisions that way. But we taught you that there's going to be events on all the time. You can't just bring around a little esky and just have that and miss out on everything. We've got to integrate this with your lifestyle. So I think flexible dieting is definitely, especially now the food's going up.
Definitely, especially over Christmas. It was so much easier, and I didn't feel guilty for it.
What did you actually? You didn't put on any weight through Chrissy New Year?
Nah, I lost.
None. There you go.
I lost some.
So we nailed it, which was great, and we actually started bringing you food back up then, which was a good idea
which
too.
was a surprise to me actually, being that Christmas feast I had.
Oh yes, programming, training, following a training plan or a game plan that way. Bettering yourself on a week-to-week basis and following a program that's suited to you, rotating body parts. How did you find that as compared to normal training? As to where you're at now, as far as, I mean, again, throwing you in the deep end was probably it would have been the worst thing possible. We'd slowly progressed Johnny up. How have you found the programming and following a plan that way, and where you're at now in relation to exercise intensity or putting your body through?
I don't think I've ever trained as hard as I have now.
Yeah.
I've got as much growth as I have before as well, and the measurements keep going up, the weights keep going up, and it all works together with the food going up.
So just definitely say on a mental level, like it allows you to push yourself beyond what you would normally think mentally or physically you'd be able to cope with.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think in the end of the day too, with Johnny's programming, it was so important to be able to create an environment to give his body a reason to change. In the end of the day, if you're comfortable being just comfortable, you're never going to be able to give your body a reason to grow and develop based on the stimulus that you're providing it. So it's constantly putting Johnny under excessive poundage, but being smart about the way we were doing it. So the personalised programming is very important, rotating rep ranges, keeping his strength in there, and also volume. And I think not only that, one, you learn a lot. Technique-wise, form, and two, the enjoyment that you're getting out. It's tough. It's tough.
Right?
But I think Johnny Boy, it's definitely something that physically, yes, great, but mentally, the advantages of putting yourself through hell every morning has done for you, mate. And you're pretty much glowing these days, and it's just an absolute pleasure to see. But some mornings when I see him, and myself included, it feels like you're dragging your knuckles along the ground, but you got to suck it up and get it done. Complaining will not do anything to change the situation.
Not at all.
For those out there too, look, if there's someone or a friend, family, whatever it may be, who are looking to go along the same path, including yourself, how important would you say it has been having that community of people around you that are there to support you, make sure that you're getting up in the morning? How important is it to have the right circles around you to support? They might not understand it, but they're there and they're supportive.
No doubt. Like, the people, whether they know it or not, have helped me so much. Like, the community, I've met some fantastic people through Adam and Leon, and whether they know it or not, they've helped me a lot. So important having those people around. And obviously, there's just going to be people knocking you left, right and centre at the start especially, and unfortunately, especially when people are insecure in themselves, they're more likely to be opinionated as far as that's concerned. But eyes on the prize, and just knowing the end goal, and being focused on that side of things, I think it's definitely helped. But your support networks have been tremendous, and it's been a pleasure
to introduce Johnny through to some amazing people that have definitely got him up out of bed on certain days and kept the ball rolling. So so your circles are so important, and if there's certain people that are not willing to support it, I'd definitely reconsider them in that journey of yours as well.
Yeah, and I certainly have.
So the other thing too, now in the mentor program and through Johnny's transformation, every Wednesday morning, hips, waist and weight, it gets sent through every single morning, same time. How have you found, knowing that you've got a plan to follow in the nutritional aspect and also programming, knowing that you've got this check-in every Wednesday, and the check-ins guys will determine what happens with his food and his training, etc. as well. How important was it knowing that you've got that every Wednesday to answer to?
There's somebody to kick my ass, pretty much.
Accountability, big time.
Doing it by yourself compared to this, completely different. And Adam's had to kick my ass, and he has kicked my ass. Johnny had a week in particular just recently where the measurements told us a couple of things, and he knew that the conversation was going to be had, and we pinpointed a few things very quickly, and back on the game train again, which there's always going to be weeks here and there. I mean, life gets in the way or certain things, but as long as that consistency's there. But the tape never lies, numbers don't lie, and we can always find out what we need to do moving forward for the next 7 days based on those check-ins. But I think, it's just a tremendous amount of weight Johnny's lost so far. It's just, 14 odd kilos?
About 14 kilos, and he's growing now. We've got him in a bit of a different state now. That was through the cut phase, where a lot of Johnny's food got reduced, whereas the appreciation side of things of food through that period.
Yeah,
absolutely, and I think for you too, you learn a lot as far as
a lot about food.
On what you should and shouldn't eat to get those calories under control. So we took Johnny through quite a considerable cut phase, where metabolically things do start to slow down over time when you're dieting for such a long period of time as well. And there was at one stage there, I said, Johnny, enough's enough. That's us. We set an end goal. Obviously, you'll see from the before and after pictures, it was just tremendous what we could achieve. But at that time, it was then time to start what's called pretty much reverse dieting, getting his metabolism in full speed and revved up to full capacity, and get Johnny back into a calorie surplus to put on some lean muscle as well, so that when it comes time for Johnny to cut again, we've got lots of calories to work with, and it's not going to be as harsh as or as depleted calorie-wise for Johnny next time. And proof's in the pudding that reversing or putting calories back in does not necessarily at all mean that you lose condition, if not anything. How have you found through this now lean muscle gain phase? How have you? I think comment-wise, you've been getting a lot more.
People from that, when I finished the cut to even now, I've stayed pretty much the same weight, and people are just blown away in the last 2 months with how much I've stacked on.
Thickness and density. Not only that, Johnny's just absolutely busted his backside day in, day out. Everything is consistent. All those components together, all those pieces of the puzzle have just been put together continuously and consistently. But I think your proof's in the pudding with you on what you've achieved since just before the end of last year to now in a calorie surplus. And not only that, as you said, your weight hasn't changed, but you've grown. He's doubled in size. So I think that's put a different spin on things for you.
It's the same thing again. Education and understanding the background behind everything is kind of what I need to know. And now I've seen the proof, and I know I wouldn't have believed it last year, but I do now. And because Johnny and I are in the same sort of stage as well, I'm really trying to get my calories up as high as possible as well. And I always said to Johnny, I said, man, I wouldn't put myself through something. I wouldn't put you through something that I wouldn't do myself. And the whole off season or reverse dieting does not mean that you need to let your physique go whatsoever.
And it's also a chance for you to really start hitting some good poundages as far as training. And having fuel in the tank, even though like training gets harder and it feels like there's not much. But it's really cool now because we're getting Johnny's food as high as possible, whilst keeping a very close eye on hips, waist, weight, and your body's been responding tremendously well. So very, very happy. So through the mentor program, I think you've experienced so much education along the way, and you understand the principles, and the dots have now connected for Johnny.
That's right. Yeah.
I think more importantly as well, and this I probably get the best, the absolute kicks out of as far as when I hear Johnny passing on education to other people around him, because he's inspired so many men and women and people that are close to him because of his changes in his physique and his outlook on things as well. So would you say that you've had a positive influence?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. So many of my friends are like, damn, you just make me feel like I want to go to the gym right now. Like I'm going home and doing it. I'm making a start. Yeah.
I think the ripple effect that someone has when they've made such an incredible transformation is I couldn't be more proud. Hearing the stories when Johnny says he's been looking after other people or helping with advice and information. In saying that, moving forward as well, so through this journey, putting everything together, if there's a couple of people out there, men or women, looking to go through a similar transformation and get on the education wagon, etc., any good words of advice that you could give through your journey that you've learnt, or things that have really applied that have helped you along the way through the good bad days and the bad? What sort of advice could you give to those people watching?
Just stick at it. Just keep every day. Just keep going. Yeah. It's just consistency and just patience. It's patience, you know what I mean? Like
you've heard us repeat those two on many occasions. So
it all comes together. You just got to take your time.
Yeah, and unfortunately too, you got to think there's a lot of people that, Johnny included, that you can't fix things overnight. You've got to be patient with it, but with patience also comes longevity and maintaining a physique that you can keep all year round. I mean, that is the ultimate respectable scenario that you can be dealt with, and not only that, repairing your metabolism, getting your health in check, making sure that your immune system's healthy. All these things as well, but consistency, that is the number one word. I can't speak highly enough of that word as far as if there are shortcuts or magic pills, please tell me. But it's consistency, it's hard work, and also being patient. So great words from Johnny Boy there. But as I said, I couldn't be more proud since last March to see the changes made, and you're an inspiration to me and all those around you, and I really look forward to sharing Johnny's journey over the next 18 months, because he's got some big goals to kick, and I'll be there with him by his side, making sure that those check-ins are on song, and we keep moving forward and progressing from there. So I hope that's given you a pretty cool insight into this young man, and as I said, I really look forward to sharing the sort of next phase or the next level that we're going to take Johnny through this period. So